a video, okay, called "The Original Resident Evil Games Are Better," okay, by Last Critical Stand. What was it by? Was it by Last Critic Standing? All right, let's get into it. I hope this is good. Dang. We started busting. Dang, why did he grab her like that? Good lord.
Games are great. They're awesome. And I'm of course talking about the first 3 on the PS1, you know, the ones that came out in the 90s.
Hey, okay, I must admit, I actually didn't beat like any of the original, like, you know, original 3. You know what I'm saying? I have played them, you know what I'm saying? I played them, and I was like, as being a younger brother, you know, and a younger cousin, you know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily get a chance to get my hands on controller while I was a kid, but I do remember like playing some and watching others. So this is going to be interesting for me, because I right now am a huge fan of the remakes. Okay, all right, they're great. All right, as you can see me playing them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Last generation before airplanes were scary. Well, the remakes rule in their own right.
Yes, they do.
Hold a candle to the originals.
Okay.
Somehow, in terms of expanding upon the scope of their PS1 counterparts. I'm more so talking about the RE2 and 3 remake, if you hadn't guessed.
Okay.
Since the RE1 remake is pretty much perfect, arguably superior to the original. In
Actually,
way.
okay, so I recently going through the Resident Evil 1 remake, and I remember, like, as a kid, that game was scary as all get out, and I'm playing it right now on the Steam Deck. By the way, if you don't have a Steam Deck, please get one, bro. It is a great investment. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting sponsored, but Valve, if you want to, you know, hit your boy up. Okay, but seriously though, I've been going through the Resident Evil 1 remake, and it's fun. Like, it is a solid game. It's hard. I have a love-hate relationship with tank controls, and I'm pretty sure, like, technically the controls in the, you know, Resident Evil 1 remake that was like originally redone for the GameCube, I believe, right? Like, I think that's better than the original that was on like the PS1, but like, it's hard. Like, it's hard in its own way. A lot of it is that, like, they don't really tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta wander around, die a few times, and go like, okay, yeah, that's about right. Okay, that's a puzzle. Oh, where do I get this key? Oh, I died again. That's how I feel playing it. But I'm enjoying it. It's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's fun.
An RE4 remake is great.
Yes.
Though it goofs on a few narrative elements.
Yes. Okay. By the way, great freeze frame. Okay. I freaking love the Resident Evil 4 freaking remake. It is so good. Okay, I've beaten a lot of times, but like I decided, instead of like on my initial playthrough, I was gonna, like, you know, record a let's play or whatever. This time I was just like, I'm gonna enjoy this for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm loving it. If you have it, it is like you should experience the original Resident Evil 4, but you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? I feel like while Resident Evil 4, this one is a remake, it's also a reimagining. They changed some stuff that blew me away as a huge Resident Evil fan. You know what I'm saying? They did some stuff that really blew me away, but you know what I'm saying, they kept enough of the original stuff to make me go, yeah, this is Resident Evil. You know what I'm saying?
That were near and dear to my heart. But in terms of Raccoon
Wait,
City,
what did that say? Hold on.
A few narrative elements that were near and dear to my heart.
Rest in peace, FaceTiming Salazar and Sadler. Yo, okay, he has a point though. He has a point. I forgot that was his thing. Oh my gosh. Also, like, how you go into the sewers is different. You know what I'm saying? They change some stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Hard. But in terms of
it's not always a bad thing.
Fighting zombies and using the supplies we can fish off the bodies of dead cops and mercenaries, I don't think anything hits the mark quite like the original Resident Evil trilogy manages to.
By the way, this is probably the closest I'm about to get back to the original Resident Evil series. I can't do it, dog. I can't do it. I got work in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Playing through these goddamn games, maybe for charity or some shit. But like, besides that, I am enjoying my time going through. You know what I'm saying? Going through the remakes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm having fun with it.
There's a unique kind of simulated sense of survival horror that at times becomes too cinematically focused in the remakes.
Oh,
Sometimes to the point of completely losing the script altogether. I'm
okay.
mostly just disappointed at how little they did with the remakes. You know,
I'll say, this dude's audio quality is great. I gotta admire that. Gotta respect it. He got a cool voice. But at the same time, I definitely feel what he's talking about, especially when it comes to Resident Evil 3. I don't think it was that bad at Resident Evil 2. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was that bad. Resident Evil 3, on the other hand, holy crap. While I like the cutscenes, I'm just like, can I get the controller back? I feel like a little kid again, bro. They just come and snatch the controller out of your hands mid-run. You're like, it's like, I was not done. They're like, yoink, you're done now, okay? But yeah, I digress.
in terms of expanding upon the foundation of the originals. There was plenty of space to add cool new environments on top of the existing framework without actually changing or removing stuff, yet that's the route they took. Rather than having more time in Raccoon City, it nearly removes all of it from both games. When it comes to recapturing the essence of RE2 and RE3, the remakes felt more like impressive tech demos than fully realized experiences. I never in my wildest dreams could have ever imagined they'd make the remakes feel smaller than the original PS1 games. And I personally believe it's because they were remaking them for the wrong reasons. Not to improve the games or to actually update them for modern audiences, but to combat modders and independent game designers from doing it themselves, stealing what could have been a possible revenue stream for Capcom.
Okay, that is a fair point. I don't 100% agree, but like, I'm not saying that Capcom is just like in it for the cash grabs or nothing, but like, cause I genuinely do like the remakes, and I'm genuinely like enjoying the experience. But I know, like, I'm not gonna say that these mofos are above, like, you know, trying to combat the modding community, cause like, yo, dude, they do not leave like anything slide up on Nexus mods, dog. I mean, like, something will go up, and I immediately see it go back down. I'm like, dang. I guess no more updates, huh? Like, dude, Capcom does not play with that. But at the same time, too, like, the modding community be killed it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be coming out with some dope-ish, and then, like, and actually.
Remakes were phoned in by any stretch, but
these mofos probably do be doing that. They're like, oh, that mod is a great idea. Take it down, you know, hit them with that cease and desist, and then they go develop it. You know what I'm saying?
does feel like they were trying to pump them out quickly to capitalize on what modders were doing in their spare time.
What? Resident Evil 2 Reborn Project 2015? Okay, I didn't know modders were doing all this. Yeah, okay, Capcom, you got some explaining to do.
Now, it's probably easy for most people to assume that I'm primarily talking about...
Okay, hold on.
Now, it's...
Okay, that's kind of a... You know what I'm saying? Like... Okay, I don't... Okay, I doubt that that's like a one-to-one rip, right? But like... Still, it's, you know what I'm saying? That's a little fishy.
It's probably easy for most people to assume that I'm primarily talking about RE4 Remake.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with the Resident Evil franchise, then to some extent, you're right about that.
Yep.
But I'm talking about Resident Evil 2 Remake as well.
Whoa, he's coming after the GOAT, you know, where Leon, oh my gosh, I love this. Babyface Leon makes his introduction. Babyface Leon joins the fight. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love it. You better have some good stuff, dog, okay?
These remakes have sort of a fatal flaw in their execution.
How's that?
Makes me wonder at times what it is that modern developers have against letting players just make their own decisions. Letting them experience things on their own.
Bruh, what do you do? Dang, oh my gosh, never mind. Okay, baby girl Jill, I didn't know she was throwing the bows like that in the original. Look at that.
At their own pace, or just facing the harsh reality of their choices in general. On some level, the remakes do majorly incorporate the basic survival horror design. You get things like health items, weapons, ammunition for those weapons, and you use them as intelligently as possible to try to make your way through adversity. But where I find the remakes miss the mark is in how they seem to forget that player choice.
Bruh, that I feel like the Terminator mofo with this one is disrespectful. Nobody should be dodging. Like nobody should be dodging a grenade launcher like that. You know, it's like he did some Spider-Man 1 stuff where he looked at the grenade as it flew through the air before he looks back at you. You know what I'm saying? Disrespectful.
Voice is more than what bullets.
Bro, look at that. Come on, dude. Wild on fire.
You consume. It's also about which paths you take. While there is some extent of this in the remake, I think it's fair to say that they're both much more streamlined than their PS1 counterparts.
They did feel pretty streamlined.
In RE2 and
I felt like they're in RE2 though. There were more puzzles that I had to figure out. There was more times where I kind of stopped. It was like, wait a minute, you know, how do I go about this? You know what I'm saying? Even if the puzzle might have been easy, it was hard for me. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. But Resident Evil 3, I don't really feel like I had that big of an issue. Like there was a point at the very end where I was trying to figure out how to do like the little, you know, serum thingy, whatever. I was having a little issue with that, but besides that, like I beat like that was like what the fastest clear I've had in a Resident Evil game in a minute was just going through Resident Evil 3.
RE3 are straight up missing from the remakes, with the later game's entire foundation being essentially scrapped for a linear sequence of forced obstacles and encounters.
That's one thing I will say.
I'll start with the
like because I didn't really play through the original, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff that if you played the original, you were expecting to happen or some form of that. And if it didn't happen, you're disappointed. Because I definitely felt that way a few times when I was playing Resident Evil 4. Because, like, you know, Resident Evil 4, that was my, like, that was the Resident Evil 4 was the first Resident Evil game that as a kid I actually owned. It was mine. I could play it. None of my older brothers or the cousins could take it out, you know, control it out of my hands. So like that right there was really like special to your boy. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like detail by detail playing that game over and over again. I also, but every time it was re-released, I bought it, you know, almost as much as I buy Sonic games. I bought the heck out of that. And in Resident Evil 4, there were moments where I was just like, wait a minute, that didn't happen like that. Where is what's the name? What happened to, you know, it was like, those are special moments to me, but they did a good job of having enough in there that kept me satisfied and changing certain things to keep me on my toes enough. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, so I feel for the original, the people who had like the Resident 2, like my Resident Evil 4 was somebody else's Resident Evil 2 or, you know, or 1 or 3. You know what I'm saying? So I feel for you.
2 remake to keep things clear. One of the first and most glaring differences between RE2 and its remake is that the entire Raccoon City portion is more or less missing. In the original, you had to trek through the Raccoon City streets as either Leon or Claire to reach the police station.
Oh.
It's really interesting how difficult and off-putting this section of the game can be to new players, many of which started with RE2 and just skipped RE1 altogether. It's an absurdly difficult start to the game that requires you to know essentially all the controls and how to carefully maneuver around enemies.
That's a
before you
tutorial?
die in the first 10 to 12 seconds.
Bruh.
This may even seem like bad game design, but it's actually genius.
I wonder, wait, did the original one have the whole gas station? Original Resident Evil 2.
How unsurvivable it is to stay outside on the streets. It's to paint the picture that the chaos
Oh, that's a good point.
Cannot be brute forced with bullets or muscle. It's a show versus tell situation where instead of suggesting that the streets are uninhabitable, it shows you firsthand the crowds of undead and how dire the entire situation has become.
That's a good point. Okay.
Fighting these hordes is next to impossible, and it's quite a trial for first-timers to even
Yo.
get to the police station.
So by the time, okay, we're on the same page, me and this guy. Okay, by the time you get to the freaking police station, you're like, whoo, like a genuine breath of fresh air. Like, oh my gosh, I'm safe, you know, for the first time. Yeah, okay. I really didn't get that feeling too much when, you know, when I went through Resident Evil Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake, that is. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Okay, let's keep going.
And it creates what I think is the best bait and switch in the entire series. Something they perhaps wanted to...
Oh, that looks a lot different. Like, it's still, I can still see it, you know what I'm saying? But that's still a lot different, you know what I mean? In the remake, feels like a lot bigger.
do with RE1 but didn't have the technology yet. The entire premise of it is that there's this false sense of sanctuary once you reach the police station.
Yeah.
But that illusion is quickly lifted once you see Marvin.
It's your boy, Martin. Yo, why did he? Ooh, look at that crisp ass high top fade. You know what I'm saying? Why? He's a bro. They just gave him a regular ball fade in the remake, bro. They should have kept his ass with the high top. You know what I'm saying? Ain't it supposed to be like the 90s or 80s or something like that? Yeah, he was killing it.
The ground. Once you see the silent liquor crawl past the window, you realize that the RPD is a whole other monster. That you'll find no.
Oh my gosh, bro. Okay, so something I'm in danger. Well, yeah, that's real. So something I definitely noticed though by watching these clips. Also, I'm realizing, dude, I'll be thinking too hard about these video essays. Homie Lily said at the beginning, it was just some, lazy clips. But I'm still engaged, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to start doing that, you know what I'm saying? Should I post on this channel? I don't know. Make a new channel? I don't know. I might go crazy with it. But anyways, look how many zombies are. I counted 1, 2, you know what I'm saying? I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on screen, bro. Like, how many times have you played Resident Evil 2 Remake and you're going down the hall and there's 5 zombies, bro? Like, let's be real. No, like that doesn't happen. Like, or maybe the way I play, all those ankles and kneecaps are confiscated, dog. Nobody goes around here. I am a police officer of the law, and I hold up the law by taking their limbs, dog. So maybe that's probably because of how I play, but I can definitely say this right here has never happened to me. I would definitely. A Resident Evil game, yeah, having this many zombies in one place, yeah, that would be freaking terrifying. Get this on right.
In the original Resident Evil, this feels like what they were going for with the mansion. They even have that text crawl. You escaped into the mansion where you thought it was safe. Yet, and this suggests to me that on some level, Capcom enjoyed the theme of luring the player into a false sense of security from the
oh my gosh,
series.
Dude. You know what's also wild? Every time when I look at like an older game that I seen as a kid, how real it looked to me. But like when I look back on the graphics, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what game was I playing? I was like, these YouTubers are lying to me. This is not the game from my childhood that gave me nightmares. Okay, this is not the same thing. But yo, it is always wild. But it's another reason why I appreciate it, dude. Now I think about it, even 2D games like Super Mario look real to me. But like now looking at it, I'm like, ooh, it still look good. Pixel art.
The RE2 remake, that entire narrative beat is missing. And even though there is a brief outdoor section in the first scenario, it's incredibly short. Like, painfully short. It takes less than 40 seconds to get to the RPD gate, if that. And the zombies
that's if you strolling.
Don't aggro the player. Even then, they're only a threat if you stop holding down the run button for some reason, which you're unlikely to do. Sometimes I wonder if they did this to retain the threat of the zombies. However,
yo,
they did add a gas station.
I will definitely say when they bust through the door, dog, that is always like, wait a minute, what? Where'd you come from? Why are you on the other side of the station, bro? Why are you trying to get your walk in?
Sequence that was only a cutscene in the original, so it's not like you don't know what you're up against.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the theme of false sanctuary
I do like the gas
implications
station
of the
though.
Zombie outbreak aren't really the only things lost by this omission in the remake. By removing all the meat from this section and shortening it dramatically, you also lose a lot of the cool gameplay paths that are expanded upon by what players decide to do before reaching the RPD.
Oh.
Firstly, there's Brad, and the ability to fight him if you reach the RPD without collecting any bullets.
Wait,
this is
what?
The obvious one, but it's not necessarily the important one. It's the choice to have Kendo's gun shop in this section and not later on in Leon's campaign that really makes the difference. In the original game,
wait, he dies right
you
here?
can get Kendo's shotgun early by fighting off the hordes within his shop, or by running up and grabbing it quickly before the zombies notice you, sometimes only taking a small bite in the process. Believe it or not,
okay,
this
that's
is a
cool.
Game changer, and it can drastically
Holy
affect how
crap.
you
He
proceed
just
with the rest of
popped 2 heads with 1 shot. That was nice. Okay, but the fact that you can get something like that early, I'm not sure if you can do anything like that in the remake, like at all. I played a lot, but I don't know all the secrets, you know what I'm saying? I'm good, but I ain't no expert, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm great, but I'm not no expert, you know what I'm saying? You get it.
the city or even the police station. When you get the card key
Bruh.
from Marvin and unlock the east and west wing doors in the main hall, you can choose to go either way instead of being forced down one or
You
the
got the
other.
card key from Marvin?
It's typically suggested you want to go through the west hall door first and face the liquor right away. This is because the
Dang.
east location is
Is he taking out the
absolutely
liquor with
packed
just a
zombies.
pistol?
You have to come back here
Never in my
anyway, so it
wildest
heavily
dreams,
pressures
bro.
the player to
Ever.
come back later and forego any of the resources you may find on this side of the police station. But if you have the shotgun and you go in there early, this gives you access to all the resources and goodies in the East Wing before you even come in contact with the liquor.
Safe code, you get
Obviously,
more shells.
in the remake, they drastically alter most of this so that it can be more streamlined. So having the shotgun early.
There are technically alternate routes, you know what I'm saying, that you can take, but I guess, because it feels so, like, even though it's streamlined, Resident Evil 2, like, I guess because I've played it so much, I haven't really thought about that aspect of it. Because, like, after you play it so many times, you remember, like, at least your boy, I got a handy dandy notebook, you know what I'm saying? Okay, OG in here. I write down the codes, once I find them, on actual paper. Well, digital paper now, but you know what I'm saying? But, like, you do still have choice, and there's still different paths, but not at the beginning, not in the street. There's a lot of sections that are just very linear, and then you get to like a space where it's kind of more open, where you choose how to get to where. You know what I'm saying? Still solving the same puzzles, but you kind of choose how you get there. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't make much of a difference in this case anyway. These early gameplay decisions heavily affect replayability, and to me, they're what Resident Evil is all about.
Oh yeah,
It may
replayability.
seem insignificant considering it's just one specific change, but this particular omission kills what I felt like set the entire narrative tone of the game.
Oh
Without
my
that
gosh.
early Raccoon City gauntlet, there's simply no answer as to why Leon or Claire would choose to endure the small hell that is the RPD. As RE1 put it, it's too dangerous to go outside.
That's
Why
fair.
would Leon or
Yeah,
Claire choose
that's
to spend
fair.
so much time in a police station if they just breezed through the streets and could find a more secure location or perhaps even an escape route? You don't just hurt replayability with this change, you hurt the entire logic of staying inside the RPD.
Yeah,
And the game takes
theme-wise
place
and
there, so in
story-wise,
turn, you
that
hurt the
doesn't make as
logic
much
of
sense.
The entire game. I also find it fascinating that with the new technology Capcom had with these remakes, that they wouldn't choose to actually expand on the Raccoon City sequence for how much more
my
visually
God.
stunning a
Oh
set
my
piece
God.
it could have been. Instead, they
Yeah.
shy away from it, maybe due to how technically demanding it is compared to the PS1 static backgrounds. But
I
even in
wonder
the
how-
concept art, there was a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were really having an issue with that or not. Was that like a technical decision? Like they couldn't, you know what I mean, get the visuals that they wanted, so they had to dumb it down, make it smaller, with also maybe like new engine, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that was it. I don't know. That doesn't kind of cheap. Or maybe, I'm not sure if it was like a technical or creative decision.
Lot more shown in the city sections.
But this
And it
art
looked like
does look cool.
potentially some of it got passed off to the B team when making the RE3 remake. I think in a
Dang,
way,
he
a
called
lot
it
of
the
us
B
were
team.
rationalizing this in our head. At first, I remember saying to myself, well, maybe they wanted to maintain the slow tension for as long as possible in the A scenario and are saving the dramatic
Huffing that
outdoor
copium.
stuff
I
for
feel you,
scenario
brother.
B.
I feel
And
you.
that would have made a lot of sense from a pacing standpoint.
Uh-huh.
It would have given the players the amazing Raccoon City spectacle and simultaneously did away with
Yo,
the
I
big-
didn't know that zombie catches on fire. I've never stayed long enough to look, bro. I was like, yo, it's time to go. I was like, we are not playing these games. Leon, we do not turn around, okay? We are going forward.
skill barrier that made the original RE2's outdoor section so unforgiving. But
Oh,
no,
maybe they
the B
tried to make it
scenario
more
has
welcoming.
Literally no town section at all, even less than the first scenario. Well, it was at this point that I did some more rationalizing. No matter how hurt I was, maybe they were saving all of this for the RE3 remake, which is a game that's primarily
Don't
outside.
do it!
And I thought it was cool that they did actually add some stuff from the original intro into Claire's trek to the orphanage. But at that point, it was a tad too little too late. And it was just a bunch of dogs running around that I'm not sure captured the essence of the original or the narrative power of how dangerous the city had become. So for me,
I forgot
RE3
that
was what we
section,
were all
actually.
waiting for, and
There is a point where you go outside RPD and when you play as Claire. Yeah.
oh boy, we're in for a fucking double dose of eat shit from Capcom's B team. It's amazing to me that the RE3
Ooh.
remake managed to have all the same issues.
Okay, I already know. I kind of know what he's going to say. You know what I'm saying? Because your boy has played it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say I had fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's great. You know what I'm saying? But I had fun. It was like, I was here for a good time, not a long time. Not a great time either. You know what I mean? But it ain't bad. It's just good. You know what I'm saying? I had fun with it, and it probably also has a little bit to do with you know what I'm saying? Not you know what I'm saying? Playing the original, but I think it was fun. It was fun.
As the previous one, only dialed up to 11. And unlike the RE2 remake, it wasn't something that primarily affected the first portion of the game, but the entire game. It's sort of ironic that the original RE3 doubled down on player choice to the point where the game literally had a live selection screen, as though it were a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Fight with the
It's
monster?
ironic
What?
Because in the same way that the RE2 remake emphasizes linearity over player choice, the RE3 remake doubles down, except this time to make one of the most linear fucking games you'll ever play. The disappointment that I felt when RE3 Remake turned the entire uptown section of the original into a goddamn walking sim.
Oh my gosh!
Myself that night like I did after playing the RE2 Remake. It was at this point that I realized that the developers had forgotten that at its core, the original Resident Evil games were a survival sim. It wasn't about aiming or cutscenes or anything like that. It was about item management, carefully choosing what targets you're going to spend resources.
Okay, that's fair.
And which paths to take to minimize.
That is definitely one of the funnest aspects of it. Like when you're trying to figure out, like, oh my gosh, I wasted way too much ammo on that last zombie because I got scared. Don't judge me. And you look at where you need to go versus where you are, and remember, like, I didn't kill none of the zombies on the way there because I was running. I was trying to conserve ammo. Now I gotta go back through to these mofos with no equipment, dog. And you're trying to figure out, like trying to reroute, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of backtracking, but try to find a good route to get there with what resources that you have, and knowing okay, am I going to take these hits, you know what I'm saying? Eat this herb, munch, or am I going to yeet these bullets, you know what I'm saying? Release these chambers of secrets, you know what I'm saying? That whole dynamic is also a puzzle in itself, and that's fun. That is definitely fun.
How quickly you drain your total resource pool. Like I said, a very stylish survival sim. And interestingly enough, these types of games have become quite popular.
Stylish survival
especially
sim.
with
Okay.
the zombie horror subgenre. Games like DayZ, Project Zomboid, and even Dead Island managed to create a more visceral survival atmosphere than the franchise that literally revolutionized it. Sometimes I wonder why the remakes adhered so closely to the originals in terms of scope, when they could have expanded the game to take place across the entirety of Raccoon City.
Yo, that's a good point. Like, what game is there a Resident Evil game we could play through, just walk through all of Raccoon City? I don't know. There probably is. I'm about to find out though, but there is, because that would be cool. Oh my gosh, a survival where you're just going through all of Yo, that would be cool.
Specifically RE3 Remake, which, in the original, I felt very much did its best to capture the feeling of being trapped alone in a huge town with zombies. The RE3 Remake adds so much linearity that it's
Bro, he dodged everything.
Even. The remakes are still great to play, but overall, they're much
I say it's too high energy.
to replay because it's mostly just more of the same. The style of progression and player choice is sorely lacking throughout. About the only thing that RE3 Remake did well, in my opinion, was how fucking cool it made Nemesis.
Yes, dude. Okay, look at this. Dude, why is he aura farming like that? He's like, I'm on fire. He's not even going to whip out the weapon. He stopped in front of you, blocked your way, was like, hold on, watch this shit.
People complain that he lets Jill go too often and has opportunities to kill her and doesn't, but somehow I think this gives him more character.
Yeah.
Makes the killer clean,
Yeah, exactly. He was like, bro, I ain't just going off you like that, okay? I like challenge, you know what I'm saying? And I got I got pride in here, bro. I can't just be smacking you, I gotta actually execute you in the coolest way possible. It's like, how much ore can I farm right now?
Kind of like Predator. And speaking of newly captured inspirations, does Nemesis in the remake remind anyone else of Doomsday from the Death of Superman comic?
Oh, I didn't think about
Nemesis
that.
of the main hero,
Right, because I didn't read it.
wears a containment suit to hide his true monstrous form and adapts to every situation.
Oh, he's gonna talk about the tubes.
Stronger the more you put him down. Just something I noticed and thought was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, though, that's where the good ends with the RE3 remake. Nemesis doesn't kill Brad like he does in the original. Jill doesn't explore the city much whatsoever and is mostly hurt.
Okay, I kind of like that because it definitely ties in with the new storyline of Resident Evil 2, like how they play, like Marvin, like him saying, hey, you know, don't hesitate like me, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you played that, you played RE2 and you immediately go into RE3, it really ties up those loose ends.
Jill doesn't explore the city.
It kind of rewards, you know what I'm saying? It rewards that person who does do that, you know, that person being me. So I enjoyed it, but I can see, you know, I can see what he's saying. I know I'm biased.
Much whatsoever, and is mostly herded into interiors after the first hour of the game. And about 45, maybe 50% of the game's original content from locations, bosses, and enemies completely cut.
And weapons?
To illustrate
Dang.
how much was cut, there's no brainsucker enemies, no crows, no worms, no web spinners, no gravedigger boss,
What?
no clock tower location, no backtracking to Uptown, no Raccoon Park, no Nikolai helicopter boss, no kinky shirtless tentacle nemesis, no live
What?
selection, and no different endings.
Okay, all right. Okay, we might have to play original. There's just like so much here, dude. Like, that's why. Okay, that is a lot of stuff to take out. That this is no longer a remake. Jeez, I see why people are complaining. See, this is why we doing this. Okay, I'm over here learning it. Okay, you learning it with me. This is why we do this. Okay, this is a good idea. I'm happy to watch this. But holy crap! Oh my gosh, dude, that worm, dude. Okay, ugh. I don't like worms or spiders, but like that in a remake in Resident Evil 3, I wonder what that would look like.
It's also worth mentioning that they do replace our kinky tentacle nemesis phase with something much, much less interesting and more generic.
Okay, that is.
I like Carlos' change, I guess, but there's really not enough material there.
I don't really know too much about the original Carlos, but the new this Carlos, I'm like, yo, okay. He like, okay, you know, he got more sauce than Chris, but like, he kind of brought me back to that Resident Evil 5 Chris. He was giving me a little bit more of that energy, but a lot chiller. Like, I actually like Carlos's character a lot. You know what I'm saying? He's freaking cool. I don't like the OG face that they put on Carlos. That's not, nah. Give me shaggy hair, Carlos.
For me to really talk about. And you know what the funniest thing is to me? RE4 Remake had tons of backtracking and exploration.
Yes.
A game that was known for its divergence from the series for being linear and action-oriented. It's hilarious to me how backwards the remakes are.
That's okay. That's fair. It definitely feels like they put so much more energy into Resident Evil 4. Like, especially after realizing how much they cut, it's not even close. Not even close. And also, this is bringing up a good point. Resident Evil 3 remake, like, they really don't have any excuses as far as like didn't know to put stuff like that in there, because Resident Evil 1 remake, as what I've played, is good. It has some awesome like reviews. Resident Evil 2 remake already freaking existed. Like, and Resident Evil 4 came out before all, like, well, not all of them, clearly, you know, but came out before a lot of, you know, but remakes really started. So they already had a good like system for it, you know what I mean, in place far before Resident Evil 3 remake came out. So there was some ish going on behind the scenes there.
Terms of capitalizing on their most powerful elements.
Yep.
The entire script is flipped for no reason whatsoever. The entire village portion of RE4 Remake, before reaching the castle, drags on for ages now if you're a completionist. And yet it's not that interesting of an environment to explore.
Bruh, come on. Okay, he's talking about baby girl. Okay, Resident Evil 4, dude. Okay, you gotta watch your stats. I liked it. You know what I'm saying? I liked it. I guess in the original Resident Evil, the village section was pretty fast. I felt like the castle was pretty long, you know what I'm saying? But like I felt like the pacing was good. He did say as a completionist, which your boy is, I do need to. There's a few more things. I think there's only like 4 achievements that I haven't gotten, which I thought I got, but like I didn't get. So I need to go back there and get those. Yeah.
Not from a visual or narrative perspective. Yet Raccoon City, the most interesting and narratively exploitable environment in the franchise, is now a brisk 1-hour cakewalk.
I see what he's talking about.
That waste all the potential of the most iconic location in all of the zombie horror subgenre.
I really did like the Raccoon City location. Like that whole part, I really liked it. My favorite part, much more than sewers. Ugh, I just don't like sewers. But like, yeah, the Raccoon City part, as far as Resident Evil 3, was the best part of like the game.
Not to mention wasting the most iconic Resident Evil baddie and potentially the most recognizable villain in all zombie media. I've never felt more disappointed with a game than RE4 Remake.
Dang.
I want to feel overwhelmed by the scale of it all. In the original, the game actually starts in the early morning after the police and UBCS.
I do like the chaotic feel at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like after playing through it again, but less cutscene, but more of the chaotic feel. If you played through the entire first section, and there wasn't a cutscene, or at least put some more button prompts besides getting on the roof. You know what I mean? Put more of that in there. I felt like it would have been better for sure.
Try to contain the spread of the infection. And there's this haunting silence that overwhelms
there's people. Oh, everybody's like kind of already dead.
See after a while is Brad, who's surviving by the skin of his teeth, likely because of his skills as a STARS member. When he's killed by Nemesis, that feeling of isolation is altered into something even worse. You're beset with the knowledge that the only other living thing in this city is a highly intelligent, militarized super mutant with heavy artillery that wants you dead.
Bruh.
I don't think RE2 or RE3 Remake knows how to let the player take center stage for too long without shoving some cutscene or dialogue or atmosphere and immersion wrecking bullshit.
Yeah.
It can't help itself. Even when you see the liquor scurry up the window in the RPD, Leon can't help himself but to say some cheesy ass shit like, "What the? What in the?"
No, okay, I'm gonna push back on that one. Okay, one, I get what he's saying, but one, Leon has always been cheesy as hell. I think he's talking about taking it away from you, you know what I mean, taking the ability to say, you know what I mean, to react the way you want to react versus, I guess, being directed to react, which he probably says something, clear this up after, if I didn't pause it. But I like that. As a player, whatever he was like, what the? I was also like, oh my gosh, right, Leon? What is that? It's like they take the words out of my mouth. I actually liked it. You know what I'm saying? And also, I feel like it makes sense at this point for the character because one, Leon's always been cheesy. Two, this is rookie babyface Leon. If he ain't scared here, you know what I mean? It don't even make no sense. It wouldn't make his glow up in Resident Evil 4 feel as epic. You know what I'm saying? So I like it.
Compare that to the original where you get the vibe that Leon possibly didn't even see it. As he doesn't react whatsoever. This makes it feel like only the player caught it. Only you caught it. And it's scarier that way. It almost sort of pulls you into the experience. Leon maybe didn't see it, but you did, and you have to be the one to prepare for it. When the character reacts to it, it sort of puts something between you and the threat, making you feel less afraid. Even the raw silence of that moment in the original is superior. It reminds me of the air screamer moment in the original Silent Hill. How after grabbing the map or whatever on the counter, you see the thing silently flapping its wings in the window behind you. The silence adds to it. But when you hear the loud snarl of the creature with the audible climbing sound and then Leon saying some shit like, "What the?" It just takes all the air and suspense out of the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hate that for you. You know what I'm saying? It was great for me. I mean, it was awesome. I thought it was great. But I see what you mean. If that takes it from you, that takes out, gets you out of your immersion. I can see how that would suck. I don't like when stuff do that for me.
The scare is gone. it over sensationalizes something that didn't need to be altered, and this lack of subtlety is something that a lot of games today have an issue with for some reason, specifically games like Silent Hill 2 Remake, for instance.
Wait. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of knew they remade it, but I don't remember. So I'm not gonna lie. Silent Hill though, that's definitely scary. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play that. I might try it, but whew.
I think the Silent Hill 2 Remake is totally serviceable. It doesn't really hold a candle to the original in terms of its atmosphere. It's not to say the Silent Hill 2 Remake doesn't have atmosphere, because it absolutely has an incredible atmosphere. It just doesn't have
That is terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 3 than it did to me, like, Silent Hill 2, which was less about outright visual hellishness and more about the smothering and sexual undertones of a very tortured soul. And if you know anything about that game or how it concludes, you know exactly why those specific tones are important. So yeah, I'll stick with the original for these games.
I really don't know too much of anything about Silent Hill. I remember my cousin playing, I think it was like Silent Hill 3 or like, I don't know, I think 3 or 4, something like that, whatever. But I remember playing it, he was in the hospital, it was like a giant face, and that scared the crap out of me. I was just like, not me, no sir. Thou will not catch me like this game. No, that was terrifying.
Games today, I mean, at least in terms of survival horror, the original Resident Evil games and Silent Hill 2, for instance, they're not even remotely outdated in any way besides...
I'll definitely say, though, like, I feel like Silent Hill and Resident Evil series, I mean, they're both horror, like, series, but it's two different things. Resident Evil, it's scary, but it's more of a, like, jump scary. It was corny and cheesy B-movie, like, action and dialogue. That's Resident Evil. Like, it's scary, you know what I'm saying, as a series as a whole. But I'm not gonna lie, Resident Evil, when it switched to first person, my gosh, that's terrifying. You know what I mean? That's more Silent Hill-esque, you know what I'm saying? But Silent Hill, I feel like it's a lot of deep, dark themes and stories. Like, it's a lot of psychological horror. They're like really good with the narrative and stuff like that. It's not cheesy B-movie. Like, okay, it could be cheesy B-movie, but it's not cheesy. Like, they're tackling like dark subjects, you know what I mean? Deep subjects. Resident Evil, we're talking about like comic book-esque villains, dog. And it's, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's the same. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let's keep going.
Graphics, they hold up tremendously well, and they maintain a minimalistic style that goes a long way with the whole survival sim thing, the thing that they pioneered so long ago. It's hard growing up and watching everything you love get remade. In some ways it's my favorite thing because I hate everything new and I like to relive the franchises that I grew up with, but at the same time it's agonizing to watch new developers miss the entire point of what made things so special in the first place. In closing, the Resident Evil remakes are incredibly good games, especially compared to a lot of the shit.
What is that, by the way? It looks like, is that a liquor?
Especially in the first place.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like zoned out for a split second.
In the first place.
Looking at this thing. What? It looks more like a goblin.
Thing so special in the first place. In closing, the Resident Evil remakes are incredibly good games, especially compared to a lot of the shit pushed out today.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, my voice sounds different. I had to record this part. Oh, you're good. You're good, homie. It was probably out here for hours, bro, just recording these takes. I feel you. I feel you.
They balance the survival horror genre and the modern over-the-shoulder action genre even better than the original RE4 did. But the problem, in my opinion, is that they're somehow less charming, less imaginative, and more restrained in virtually every way. And sometimes the things that we love about the originals, the things that made them ingenious, is overlooked and left on the cutting room floor. Developers sometimes miss the importance of things when trying to recreate or improve upon the original formula.
Yeah.
Remakes are simply at a disadvantage because of this. There's always something lost, and while it's true that there is usually something gained in the process, it puts you in an awkward position where there's stuff you like about the original and stuff you like about the remake.
Yep,
and to get
right
the
there
full
with you.
You kind of
like manga versus anime series.
I find this to be less the case with the RE1 remake because of how closely it adhered to the original. And I think that's why comparisons like this matter, because it truly feels like remakes can be done better than they are, at least right now. They're becoming a common occurrence in pretty much all media formats, from movies, games, and
It's like, I don't want to put Resident Evil in that, in that camp, but yeah, there are a lot more remakes and stuff like that, and it does feel like a cop out. Like, you know what I'm saying? It does feel like a cop out a lot of times. Like, they are afraid to experiment with some new stuff, so they go ahead and, pop out, you know what I'm saying? Let's do, like, we're gonna remake this again, you know what I'm saying? Ugh.
music. The only thing that changed in the RE1 remake is a bit of the specific enemy layout and the revision of the retro 80s horror vibe that was changed into something much more realistically disturbing. However, the change was blended so well and is still maintained.
Oh yeah, I forgot that happens if you try to open the door.
Dated and kind of niche grindhouse tone.
I do like the fact that, like, in the Resident Evil games, they allow you, like, instead of, you know how it says, like, oh, it's dangerous to go outside, they actually let your ass go back outside. Like, okay, go ahead, get your ass eaten up. You know what I'm saying? I think I like that. You know what I'm saying?
It can also be said for the RE1 remake that it didn't cut anything, and it only added things to the experience, which was a major gripe people had with remakes, myself included. Even the RE4 remake removes things, but the only difference is that RE4's update adds so much to the experience that it can kind of easily be forgiven.
Yes, exactly.
In general.
Backflip, bro. He was just like, let me go far for the ladies.
Fairly excellent job. You're still better off playing the original games, as they're much more.
Bro, I will say, the first time this happened to me,
job. You're still
dead. Okay, I thought I was just straight dead. I'm like, how did she survive that? You know what I mean? But she is built different. Okay, ooh.
Better off playing the original games, as they're much more expansive, generally more fun, and definitely more replayable. Hell, even the RE4 remake is a slosh to replay because it's like 7 hours longer than the original.
Okay.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad
It is long as heck, dog. It is long, but it's so good. And it, like, remake, okay, replaying Resident Evil 4 remake has been so much fun. Oh, and keeping all my items. I'm just going back through with more ammo. I was like, remember me, Ninja? Wow, pow. Okay, look at this striker. Pow, fully upgraded. Pow, 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 pow. Pow, pow. You know what I'm saying? It feels real nice and satisfying to go back through it. I'm just saying.
I guess depends on how much free time you're willing, to spend replaying something.
Ooh.
But anyways, thanks for watching, and
that cut was cool.
If you like this kind of content, as I'm going to be focusing more on this and streaming for a little while.
Hey.
Don't ask me about dinosaurs in the comments unless you want me to jump through the screen and smack you.
Oh, you plays art?
So long, and enjoy hyper-reality. Bye.
Yay. Okay, yo, you know what I'm saying? Oh, snap, hold on. Yeah, okay, yo. That was hot. That was hot, yo. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? The original guy. Okay, that was a good video. It's your boy, y'all.